on to a Smith.
Yep. A wordsmith or a guitar smith?
Yes, both. Allegedly, now. And bizarrely, the supposed first solo album from Johnny Marr, called The Messenger. Well, didn't he? I was sure he did an album, Johnny Marr and the Healers.
Johnny Marr and the Healers, yeah.
That was essentially a solo album.
That was pretty much a solo album.
I mean, admittedly, he'd throw on Healers to get around it, but he never really had the band was never really a band. And besides that, he's also done time in the Cribs and Modest Mouse.
Modest Mouse. He is the as someone amusingly called him recently, the former guitarist in Modest Mouse. He's been there for a while.
He wasn't there for a while, yeah. And so this is his first solo record. I'll let him off with it. What the hell?
Yeah.
So he's almost. He must be 50 now. Was it worth the wait for his first solo album?
I have to say, to begin with, I was disappointed with this record. I just found that at the start he was trying to emulate a very much. Oh, this is going to sound terrible. It's the rock star growing old disgracefully sound. You know, trying to relive some of the glories of youth. Very brash to begin with as well. Not what you'd expect from that sort of clean sounding Johnny Marr on guitar, you know. So I have to say, the first half of this album, I was quite disappointed. I didn't enjoy it at all. Then something just clicked. I don't know if it was me or the record, but the second half of the LP, suddenly that sort of rawness, that sort of brashness, sort of came together and was refined, and it all came together in a good way. And I have to say, I enjoyed, certainly by the time we get to tracks such as Sun and Moon and The Cracker in particular, I thought it's just classic Johnny Marr.
Well, they're certainly very, both those tracks are very Smiths-like musically.
Yeah. And strains of electronic as well, I suppose.
Yeah. I've had in Sun and Moon, he does his one Morrissey impersonation where he sings the line "Habit" now in a very much in a Morrissey style voice.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. Maybe this is sort of getting accustomed to actually hearing Johnny Marr rather than hearing Johnny Marr, if you know what I mean, at the start of the album. Again, like some of his contemporaries from Manchester, seems to have developed an American accent on record, and I'm thinking of the Charlatans.
Yeah,
not quite contemporaries, but you know what I mean. So I found, as I say, the first half of the album a little unsettling, but once it found its groove, actually it was a blistering record.
So I actually didn't mind the first half of the album.
Oh, there you go. That's the rock pop split.
Yeah. I can't agree. Overall, I think the album is, to use your favourite word, solid.
Yeah.
And so I actually think it's not a bad record. I'm better than I was expecting it to be perfectly honest. So it has the elements of the Smiths in some of the tracks. So a couple of tracks you just mentioned, also The Messenger, the title track, and European Me, which is actually one of the earlier tracks, also have that distinct kind of Smiths guitar style. But like you said, elsewhere on the record, I suppose because he's been playing other stuff and, this stuff, the influences are slightly wider. Slightly perplexingly, the influences on a couple of tracks seem to me to be The Mission.
Right.
So I Want a Heartbeat, which is the second track on the album, seems to owe more to the Sisters of Mercy and The Mission, as did, say, Demesne, which, again, I was sat... Whilst I actually think that song is actually one of the best tracks on the album, I was sat there thinking... See Wayne Hussey singing this. Elsewhere, I had this really weird thing happen when I was listening to this record, which kind of started about Upstarts and Lockdown, and then came back right at the end of the album, where he does the kind of Franz Ferdinand track.
Yes.
World Starts Attack. But on all these
Wasn't it just?
On all these three tracks, he just really reminded me, and you won't get this because it's definitely an age thing and a Kiss thing. But back in 78, all the original members of Kiss released solo albums. So Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Peter Criss, and Ace Frehley. And Ace Frehley was the guitarist. And on Upstarts particularly, and Lockdown, it just sounds ridiculously like listening to Ace Frehley. an Ace Frehley record, and particularly on that album, Ace Frehley did a cover of this song Back in the New York Groove, and this just has that kind of feel about it. I'm probably the only person that's going to listen to this album that's going to be thinking, "Ooh, Ace Frehley of Kiss." I'm sure Johnny Marr will really appreciate that reference.
His 78 incarnation.
Yeah, his 78 incarnation. Actually, Ace Frehley is not a bad guitarist, so Johnny Marr perhaps wouldn't be that upset with me mentioning that. But it was the weird thing that the thing that popped into my head halfway through this album was Ace Frehley of Kiss solo album from '78.
Okay, that must be a first.
It is, yes. But yeah, overall, an album I could quite happily listen to.
Yeah, agreed.
And much better than a lot of the so-called, indie rock type records we've forced ourselves to listen to in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. That goes without saying. Also, a lot better than some of the, it's hardly a comeback, but some of the sort of solo projects that we've also listened to over the last couple of years, where a well-known personality within an existing band or structure has appeared with a solo record.